The 2026 World Cup was supposed to unite the world through soccer on American soil. Instead, the biggest controversy isn't happening on the pitch. It's happening at the payment terminal. International tourists are openly refusing to tip at American restaurants and bars. Servers are venting about it online, and what started as isolated incidents has exploded into a full-scale culture war that's dominating social media and dividing Americans themselves. Let's break down how tipping became the most unexpected storyline of this tournament. It started about 2 weeks into the group stage. A server in Dallas posted a TikTok showing a table of German fans who just watched their team play. The bill was paid, exact amount, nothing more. When she politely mentioned the tip, one of them said, and I quote, "We already paid for the food." The video got 3 million views in 48 hours. The comments, absolute chaos. Americans were outraged. Europeans were confused. And then something unexpected happened. Thousands of Americans started commenting that the Germans had a point. Since then, it's become the pattern across every host city. Servers in Los Angeles, New York, Miami, Atlanta, well, they're all posting similar stories. Tables of French fans, British fans, Brazilian fans, Mexican fans, nationalities from across the globe, leaving exact change or tipping maybe 5% when they're feeling generous. And they're not being secretive about it. Some are openly asking why they should pay extra when they've already been charged for the meal. Others are calling American tipping culture a scam that shifts the burden from employers to customers. One viral exchange from a bar in Philadelphia shows an English fan asking the bartender, "Why doesn't your boss just pay you properly?" The bartender had no answer. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The backlash isn't just coming from foreigners. A huge chunk of Americans are actually siding with the international visitors. Social media is flooded with comments like, "They're doing what we're too scared to do, and maybe we need outsiders to show us how crazy this system is." One comment with over 47,000 likes says, "Europeans are exposing that we've been gaslit into subsidizing restaurant owners for decades." Another says, "I'm American, and I'm about to start tipping like a German." The restaurant industry is panicking. Multiple servers have posted videos saying they're losing hundreds of dollars per shift because of international customers. Some restaurants in host cities have started adding automatic 18-20% gratuities to every check, which is only making things worse. That's led to even more confrontations, where foreigners refusing to pay the automatic charge, calling it deceptive, some even walking out entirely. One restaurant in Houston reportedly called the police when a group of Argentine fans disputed the automatic tip. The police couldn't do anything because legally tips aren't mandatory in most states. But the most fascinating part, this isn't breaking down along the usual political lines. You've got conservative Americans saying, "If you don't like our customs, don't come here." You've got progressive Americans saying, "Actually, this is a labor rights issue," and the foreigners are right. You've got libertarians saying tipping should be optional anyway. You've got service workers themselves divided, some defending tips as their livelihood, others admitting the system is broken and they wish they just got paid a living wage. The international fans, meanwhile, are standing firm. European fan groups have started posting guides telling their members, "Do not feel pressured to tip. It's not required by law." Japanese fans are reportedly asking for the law in writing because they don't believe something can be expected but not mandatory. Australian fans are posting videos laughing at emotional blackmail tactics from servers. Brazilian fans are tipping, but only because tipping exists in Brazil too, though they're shocked at the 18-20% expectation versus the 10% standard back home. And it's escalating, with about a month left in the tournament and the knockout rounds bringing even more international visitors. This is becoming a daily flashpoint. Restaurant workers are posting about it constantly. Managers are trying to figure out how to handle it. Fan groups are arguing about it in match threads. Travel forums are blowing up with threads titled things like, "Do we really have to tip in America?" Some Americans are now tipping less in solidarity with the foreigners. Others are tipping more to compensate. A few restaurants have reportedly started adding signs explaining American tipping culture in multiple languages. Some fans are taking photos of those signs and mocking them online. Here's why this matters beyond just the World Cup. Tipping has been a contentious issue in America for years, but it's mostly stayed contained to labor debates and think pieces. The average American tips because that's what you do. It's social conditioning, it's guilt, it's not wanting to be the bad guy. But when millions of people from countries where tipping is either minimal or non existent come here and just don't do it, and nothing legally happens to them, it's exposing the emperor has no clothes reality of the whole system. It's showing Americans that this thing we've accepted as inevitable is actually just a cultural norm that most of the developed world doesn't follow. Restaurant owners are trying to stay quiet because they know they're the real target here. The entire tipping model exists so they can pay servers $2.13 an hour and shift the wage burden to customers. It's legal because of lobbying and tradition, not because it makes sense. But now that international spotlight is here, that's getting harder to ignore. Some progressive cities and states have been moving toward eliminating the tipped minimum wage, but it's been slow. This World Cup controversy might actually accelerate that conversation in a way policy papers never could. So what happens next? If the pattern continues, expect more restaurants to add automatic gratuities, which will lead to more confrontations and worse reviews from international visitors. Expect the discourse to keep intensifying online as Americans continue to split on whether to defend the system or admit it's broken. Expect this to be one of the lasting cultural memories of the 2026 World Cup. Not a controversial call or a stunning goal, but the moment when the rest of the world came to America and said, "We're not doing that," about something Americans thought was non-negotiable. The beautiful game brought the world together. American tipping culture is tearing it right back apart. And honestly, a lot of Americans are wondering if maybe that's not the worst thing. Sometimes it takes an outsider to point out that your normal is actually ridiculous. The World Cup just gave America 5 million of those outsiders at once. What started as a payment dispute at a Dallas sports bar is now a full-blown referendum on one of America's most controversial labor practices, and with millions more international fans still to arrive for the knockout stage, this culture clash is just getting started.